In early 2022, a coalition of Western powers launched a massive campaign of economic sanctions designed to financially isolate Russia. The immediate goal was to sever the Russian military-industrial complex from the SWIFT banking system and block access to Western-made technology components. The physical exit of Western commerce was swift and highly visible. Yet, look inside the drones and missiles currently being deployed by Russian forces, and you will find pristine, freshly manufactured microchips from Western companies. Russia bypasses the blockade through a massive, decentralized global shadow supply chain, moving components invisibly across borders. Imagine a Russian defense plant needs a restricted microchip. They cannot use dollars, euros, or normal correspondent banks to pay the Western supplier. Instead, the money moves through over-the-counter crypto brokers and hybrid fintech networks. Russian rubles are converted into digital stablecoins, bypassing traditional banking nodes and routing directly into an offshore broker's digital wallet. Tokens tied to the value of the US dollar, like Tether or the private Russian A7A5 coin, are perfect for this. They offer the price stability of fiat currency and instant cross-border liquidity, completely shielded from global regulatory oversight. This operation is actively facilitated by Russian state-affiliated enterprises and major financial figures who construct these alternative payment rails in total secrecy. When a state moves capital across parallel, decentralized digital networks, it creates a layer of insulation that traditional banking sanctions were never designed to penetrate. With the money successfully offshore, the broker funds an intermediary entity located in a permissive jurisdiction, often far outside Western control. This middleman employs a tactic known as corporate obfuscation. They quickly register a shell company, and this new, seemingly innocent entity becomes the official buyer of the Western microchip. To get the hardware moving, the middleman alters the customs paperwork. They take the Harmonized System, or HS code, the international standard for classifying traded products, and change it. A restricted military-grade component is recoded as standard civilian electronics. To the Western manufacturer and export control officers reviewing the documents, the transaction looks entirely legal. The paper trail points strictly to a civilian buyer in a neutral country. The Western supplier ships the microchip to the shell company's address in that neutral transit hub. We can see the macro-level evidence of this routing in global customs data. This chart shows the total trade value between Tajikistan and Russia over time. Immediately following the 2022 sanctions, there is a massive sudden spike in total volume. And this chart breaks down that specific Tajikistan to Russia trade by commodity code. The spike is not driven by benign consumer goods. It is heavily concentrated in specific, restricted electronic components required by the Russian military. Once these components land in the transit hubs, they are quietly re-exported across the border into Russia through state-authorized parallel import schemes. The physical supply chain stays intact by using sovereign borders and neutral trade hubs to effectively launder the physical goods. Western policymakers are actively tracking these loopholes and continuously drafting new iterations of sanctions to plug the leaks. Regulators are utilizing secondary sanctions to target the enabling infrastructure. They are blacklisting Asian financial institutions, targeting shadow maritime fleets, and banning Russian crypto platforms. The strategy has shifted. Instead of only punishing Russia directly, enforcement agencies must now police a vast, global network of third-party facilitators. Zooming out from a single microchip, this shadow supply chain erodes the distinction between traditional commerce and illicit finance. State-controlled economic evasion operates as a hybrid ecosystem today. It relies on decentralized private tech and cryptocurrency networks to sustain state military operations. The traditional model of economic statecraft relied on choking off a nation through a few centralized banking bottlenecks. That model is now highly vulnerable. As long as alternative payment rails and willing third-country middlemen exist, policing global supply chains will remain an endless, technologically evolving game of cat and mouse.